Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something special? Today, we're heading to France.
France is lovely, especially during the holidays.
Well, we're going to be talking about Strasbourg, specifically Strasbourg at Christmas.
Sounds festive.
We found this really interesting newsletter called Love to Visit France. You know those newsletters you subscribe to when you're dreaming of getting away?
Yes, I've got a few of those myself.
Well, this one highlighted Strasbourg and claimed it's the capital of Christmas.
Capital of Christmas, huh? That's a bold statement. What makes them say that?
Right. So the newsletter talks about this Christmas market. It's called the Christkindlesmarkt, and it's been around for like over 400 years.
Wow, 400 years. That's incredible. It must be pretty special to have lasted that long.
Apparently, it's huge. Over 300 wooden chalets spread out across these different squares in the city.
I can practically smell the roasted chestnuts and hot chocolate already.
I know, right? The newsletter describes all these mesmerizing discoveries you can find there. Makes me wonder what kind of treasures they're talking about.
I'm picturing unique ornaments, hand-knitted scarves, maybe some delicious local treats.
Ooh, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. So, for this deep dive, we want to take you on a journey. Let's transport ourselves to Strasbourg and really soak in the Christmas magic.
Sounds like fun. Where do we start?
For me, I'm really curious about that 400-year history. How did this market become such a tradition?
Well, to understand that, we need to look at Strasbourg itself. It sits right on the border of France and Germany.
Ah, so it's got that blend of French and German influence, huh?
Exactly. And that blend has definitely shaped the market we see today.
Fascinating. Strasbourg's history is full of changes, switching back and forth between German and French control over the centuries.
Imagine the cultural shifts. That mix of traditions must play a huge part in making the market so distinctive.
So we've got this amazing backdrop, but when did the market actually start?
The Christkindlesmarkt we know today actually has roots in the 16th century. But back then, it was called the Klausenmarkt.
Klausenmarkt, now that's a mouthful. What does that mean?
It means St. Nicholas Market. It was a much smaller affair back then, only a few days leading up to St. Nicholas Day.
So it's come a long way from its humble beginnings.
Oh, absolutely. And there's an interesting reason why the name changed.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, during the Protestant Reformation, Strasbourg, which had a strong Protestant population, wanted to move away from the Catholic veneration of saints.
I see. So they needed a new symbol for their market.
Exactly. And that's where the Christkindl comes in.
The Christkindl.
It means Christ child in German. Often depicted as a young angel, they made it the new symbol, focusing on the birth of Jesus.
So even the market's name tells a story about the history and religious shifts of the time.
Absolutely. And it shows how traditions can adapt and evolve while still holding on to their essence.
Yeah, the Christkindlesmarkt today is a product of all that change. What a story. I love how visiting this market is like taking a step back in time.
It is. You're experiencing centuries of tradition woven into the very fabric of Strasbourg.
More than just a market, it's a living piece of history.
Exactly. And speaking of experiencing history, what about the atmosphere? I mean, the newsletter describes it as a fairy tale atmosphere.
Right. We've talked about the sights and smells a bit, but what else makes it so enchanting?
Imagine you're in Strasbourg. It's cold out, maybe even a little snow falling. You've got a warm mug of Vin Chaud in your hands.
You show.
Oh, it's this amazing mulled wine, super traditional, and everywhere you go, Christmas carols.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get the picture. Those warm lights, the scent of spices and fresh bread.
Wow.
It does sound magical.
And then you hear the sound of horses, those carriages clip-clopping on the cobblestones, and then church bells ringing in the distance.
Wow, you're really painting a picture. It's more than just seeing. It's about all the senses, right?
Exactly. So speaking of senses, what about taste?
Ooh, yeah, the food. What can you find at this market?
Well, Strasbourg is in the Alsace region, and Alsace is known for its food. It's a real blend of French and German, kind of like the city itself.
Oh, I know Alsace. So what are we eating at the Christkindlesmarkt?
Well, first off, you have to try bredel.
Bredel, what is that?
They're these little Christmas cookies, but not like any you've had before. All different shapes and flavors, beautifully decorated. They usually have aniseed in them, which is kind of unique.
Bredel. I have to look those up later. What else?
Well, then there's pain d'épices. It's basically gingerbread, but with this amazing blend of spices, cinnamon, cloves, anise. It's incredible.
Gingerbread. A classic for a reason. Anything else that stands out?
There's this brioche they make called manella. It's shaped like a little man, so cute, and it symbolizes good luck. apparently.
Manille, brioche shaped like a person. All right, that's going on the list. I've got to see that.
And of course, you can't go to Strasbourg without having choucroute.
Choucroute, remind me what that is.
It's sauerkraut, cooked with sausage and potatoes. Perfect for a cold day.
Okay, yeah, choucroute sounds like a winner.
Oh, and don't forget to pair it with some Alsatian wine. Maybe a Riesling or a Gewürztraminer.
Now you're speaking my language. This is quite the culinary adventure. But what about souvenirs? What kind of crafts can you find?
Oh, you'll find everything. Pottery, ceramics, those beautiful hand-blown glass ornaments, intricate wood carvings, even cozy wool scarves and hats, for the weather.
I can picture those stalls full of one-of-a-kind things, taking a piece of the magic home with you.
And when you buy from those stalls, you're supporting local artisans, helping to keep those traditions alive.
That's so important. It's not just about the stuff, it's about the people who make it. But the market's not the only thing to see, right? The whole city gets into the Christmas spirit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Remember the newsletter mentioned mesmerizing discoveries beyond the market.
Yeah, what else should we see in Strasbourg?
You absolutely can't miss the Great Christmas Tree. It's in Place Kleber, the main square. It's huge and covered in lights and ornaments.
Wow, I bet that's a sight to see. A Christmas tree that brings the whole city together. What else?
Another must-see is the Cathedral of Notre Dame. It's a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. And at night, they light it up for Christmas. It's incredible.
A Gothic cathedral all lit up. Okay, I'm sold.
The stained glass windows, they glow. It's something you have to see to believe. And then there's Petite France.
Petite France, what's that?
It's this historic quarter, canals and cobblestone streets, those charming little houses. And during Christmas, they decorate everything. Lights, garlands, you name it.
I bet those canals reflect all the lights. So pretty.
Yeah.
Like something out of a movie.
Exactly. Perfect for a romantic walk, some hot chocolate.
Petite France.
Yeah.
Added to the list.
And here's a tip. Take a boat tour along the canals. Especially at night, seeing the city all lit up, it's magical.
A boat tour. Yeah, I can see it. Soaking in the atmosphere, the lights, the Christmas music. What a way to experience the city.
Right. And speaking of music, have you thought about the concerts and performances they have?
Oh, tell me more about that. I love Christmas music.
Well, throughout December, they have all sorts of concerts. Choral music, classical orchestras, you name it. In churches, concert halls, even some of the squares in the Christkindlesmark.
Wow, that's amazing. A choir in that cathedral we talked about. That would be something else.
Right. Even just walking through the market with the music playing all around you, it just puts you in the spirit.
It's all about that feeling, isn't it? The warmth, the joy. But beyond the big stuff, I think sometimes it's the little moments that make Christmas special.
You're so right. Those unexpected things, like finding carolers in a quiet square or sharing a pretzel with someone you love. Strasbourg seems perfect for that.
It does. So any other hidden gems we should know about? Something unique to Strasbourg.
If you're into the history of Christmas, there's this museum called the Alsatian Museum.
A whole museum about Alsace. I wonder what they have for Christmas.
They have all sorts of traditional artifacts, like old decorations, nativity scenes, even toys from different eras. Shows you how they celebrated Christmas centuries ago.
That's so cool. It's like seeing how Christmas traditions have evolved over time. But why do you think Strasbourg embraces Christmas so much? It has to be the location, the history, that blend of French and German being right on the border.
Right. They celebrate both sides of their heritage, and you can see that in the Christmas celebrations. And remember how we talked about the city changing hands over the years?
Yeah, it wasn't always easy. They went through some tough times.
Exactly. Maybe that's why Christmas is so important to them. A time for peace, for family, for focusing on what really matters.
I like that. Like, the hard times make the good times shine even brighter. You can feel that resilience, that joy everywhere you go.
It's in everything they do, the decorations, the people. I think that's what draws people to Strasbourg at Christmas. They want more than just the lights and the shopping. They want to connect with the true spirit of the season.
I think you're right. It's about finding something authentic, something meaningful. And Strasbourg, with its history and its heart, seems like the perfect place for that, I'm convinced. But before we finish up this deep dive, anything else you want to share about Strasbourg?
As amazing as the Christkindlesmark and the other Christmas events are, the real magic is the people.
Absolutely. It's the people that make a place special.
Right.
Right. Their kindness, their hospitality.
Exactly. So when you visit, don't just rush through the sights. Take the time to talk to people, enjoy the little moments, embrace the spirit.
Great advice. It's those unplanned interactions that often turn into our favorite memories. You never know what hidden gems you'll discover. It feels like we've only scratched the surface of what Strasbourg has to offer.
There's always more to explore, right? But hopefully we've given our listeners a taste of what awaits them in this amazing city.
We've definitely sparked some wanderlust, that's for sure. But sadly, our time in Strasbourg is coming to an end. Don't worry, though. We'll be back soon for the last part of our Christmas adventure.
Wow, what a journey. Strasbourg at Christmas time sounds absolutely incredible.
Doesn't it? All those sights and smells and sounds, like stepping right into a fairy tale.
I know. The history, those charming little streets, the food, those amazing Christmas markets.
And that cathedral all lit up. Breathtaking.
I know. It's hard to believe our deep dive is already coming to an end, but before we say au revoir to Strasbourg,
Let's talk about what this all means for our listeners.
yeah, we've given them all this information, but what can they actually do with it?
Well, for one, maybe we've inspired someone to book a trip to Strasbourg.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But even if you can't hop on a plane right now, maybe it's made you think about your own holiday traditions.
That's a great point. Travel isn't just about seeing new places. It's about bringing those experiences back home with you.
Exactly. And sometimes those experiences make us appreciate our own traditions even more. So, to all our listeners out there, if you're looking for a truly magical Christmas experience, Strasbourg should definitely be on your list.
And even if the trip isn't in the cards right now, you can still bring a little bit of that Strasbourg magic into your own home.
Oh, how do we do that?
Remember those Bredel cookies we talked about? Those Alsatian Christmas cookies? Maybe try baking some.
Ooh, yeah. Or find a recording of a Strasbourg Christmas choir and fill your home with that music.
Perfect. It's all about finding those little ways to keep the spirit alive, even if you can't physically be there. Speaking of keeping the spirit alive, I've got a question for you.
Go shoot.
If you could be in Strasbourg right now at Christmas, what's the one thing you absolutely wouldn't want to miss?
Oh, that's a tough one. So many choices. But honestly, I think I'd want to stand under that giant Christmas tree and place Kleber.
The great Christmas tree.
Yeah, with all the lights and the decorations and the people celebrating around me.
Yeah, that would be pretty magical. A real symbol of the season.
Exactly. So to all our listeners, we want to hear from you. What would be your must-see or must-do in Strasbourg at Christmas?
Head over to our social media and let us know.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. And until then, we wish you a happy holiday season filled with joy, warmth, and maybe even a little bit of Strasbourg magic.
Merry Christmas, everyone.